Good morning, everyone. We'll just stand, have a moment of silence, and then do the pledge, and then we'll start the meeting.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
At this time.
Somebody turned out, their last meeting before. They showed it where I can show the erosion that's going on from the side of the road next to my house. And there's another place that's even worse than that. But you can see from the road, you cannot see. But I want to show you people from going by in your automobile, looking out your window. What you're gonna see is something green, not the erosion problem is about 100 yards south and north of where Alan used to live. There's another gully there. You can actually see what's going on there. And if something doesn't be happened to fix these problems, the road's gonna collapse and it's gonna go right into the road. The miner can wait a little bit, but that one there is urgent, I think. So I want to invite everybody to come down today, because next week it's gonna be grown up in weeds, grass, and a bunch of other stuff, where you won't be able to see what I'm talking about. That's one of the problems. Notice that you're thinking about giving the jail away. I was definitely against that. Something to think about. You got a good man in here that does our mowing. For 4 or 5 years, we buy a new mower because the old one has to fit through the opening, and he has to put that mower in. So if we kept just the garage and the jail down there, bought a larger mower with a snow blower, all the equipment that he needs, and something to think about. We may not be feasible, I'm just telling you, that's something to think about. I guess the selling of the county farm. The way that, one of the things that I wanted to show you while we were down there, one of my hillsides is in Tiger Lilies, the other one is in Crown Bench. Neither of these need to be mowed. And the one with the Crown Bench has been there for 35 years, And up until last year, nobody had voted. The one on the north side had been there for over 60 years. And every couple of years, somebody would come along and scout the hell out of it. Once again, you have erosion started, and now it's got to the point where something needs to be done. So if these were replanted in Crown Bench or Tiger Lilies, all that would be necessary to keep this from happening in the future, because the highway department people don't seem to understand what's erosion control and what's weeds, is to put up a stake with a simple sign on it saying, do not mow. I mean, it's that simple, people. So I don't know why they haven't done it. Another thing, for 2 years, I've been trying to get one hole fixed on my road, one hole. Now, they fixed all the other ones. But they haven't fixed that one. I've called 6 or 7 times. Got no response. So it kind of looks like they're signaling me out. Maybe they're not. Maybe they're just blind and can't see them with that hole. So I think something needs to be done on that. The hillside that they put in next to Richardson, I don't know who came up with that erosion control there, but that's not going to last. You can go by it today and see where erosion's already started. They just done that this year. So that's something somebody needs to take a look at. I don't know what's going on with the road department. I know we got a new guy. I'm not happy that they put the driveway in at our expense before. And I don't want to see that happen again. I'm willing to give the guy a chance. But I'm looking at the Open Arch Road out there the last time I was on it. It's in terrible shape. I realize he's just taking this over. Something needs to be done with that, but it's going to be grounded before long. It's in terrible shape. I'd like to know also what it's gonna cost us to heat and cool the maple farmer up there. Anybody's got any figures on that or any thoughts on that? I think.
There's nothing realistic. I don't think it's all that.
Okay. Sooner or later, I've got 2 places on other properties that I own where farmers have done away with the ditches. And sooner or later, you're gonna have to deal with that, people, because if water doesn't have a place to flow, where's it gonna go? It's common sense. I know we need the farmers, and I'm all for them, but, you know, there's a limit. Weight limit on roads is 80,000 pounds. If you're running a 45-foot trailer that's 6 foot high, and you fill that full of corn, you're overweight. It's that simple. You need to be about 2 foot below the top of the trailer. I've hauled grain before, I know this. Center lines, I see where somebody mentioned painting white lines again. First off, the last time they painted white lines, they bought some cheap paint. They painted those lines the same time they painted Highway 32, which junctions in the Stringtown Road. Those lines are still clearly visible. The ones that they painted along the Stringtown Road are almost completely gone. If you want to save money, you do like Illinois does, paint a 3-foot stretch of yellow paint right down the middle, go 50 feet and paint another 3 foot. Then we'll make one continuous line, you know, see what we do. There's too many people on that road. I can't hardly drive, come to town without racing between here and going home, without getting run off the road with somebody that don't know where the center of the road is at. So something needs to be done. And that's about all I got.
I think we do appreciate your concerns. I would guess the majority of your concerns are with the highway department and relation to them. Did you want to talk? Okay. I would recommend, you have a whole host of scenarios that we can't even remotely start going through today. Most of that's gonna have to be discussed, and some of it may be relevant, some of it may be at the discretion of the highway department, what they're there for. If there is a new guy, he is getting his feet wet, and it's not gonna be an overnight fix, unfortunately. And most of the problems that you brought up, I'm sure, are their concerns as well, it'll just take a little bit of time. In regards to mowing certain areas down, that's within the right of way, and they have to mow it, and that's at their discretion. But I would recommend maybe having that list typed out and then sending that to us in the highway department, maybe we can work with them and see what we
I
can.
invited him over. I don't know where he's sitting back here, but I invited him over. The phone call that we had was that he would get back with me. That was at least a week ago.
Yeah,
So I'm never gonna return phone call. And the invite's still open. I think we've got a lot to discuss about problems on our roads. And there's some suggestions that I can make that would probably save the county a great deal of money in the future. And need to be listened to, especially with the erosion problem. So
we do. I don't, there's a lot of speculation and some of the line painting and the money spent, and, a lot of that's just such a process sometimes to go through. There isn't anything set in stone. That's just been really irrelevant discussions at this point. So we do value your opinion and wanting to save the county some money. And all of it will be taken into consideration for sure. Thank you.
Thank you. Justin.
Justin, you there?
Okay, so whatever, yeah, okay.
Roger.
Oh, I think you said the audit.
No, I have the original, I'm keeping for the auditor. Just give us a minute, this is.
Well, this is down there.
Okay. Yes.
I don't know, there's more flooding on River, South River Road than Opak, I think.
Evidently, east side of the
You guys
road.
seen this?
Okay,
It doesn't.
no, he's not.
Okay. We'll take his letter, in consideration, give it to the highway department, Jason, and see what can be done about that.
You're right.
Okay.
So what I wanted to present this morning is related to something we've been working on for in Attica for 2+ years. As you know, downtown Attica is challenged, and so we've torn down some buildings. We have some more work to do, but we've designed a product that we think that will really help the county and certainly downtown Attica, but could certainly spill over to Petersburg and Covington and other places. We're planning to build a retail village that is supported by the community or by Attica specifically, so that people that wanted to try their hand at a business, have an idea for a startup, have a very small business but need to grow that, we would provide facilities for them to come in for 2 weeks, a weekend, a season. And in addition to that, though, and this is what I wanted to speak about today, we're looking at a business incubator, small business incubator, and co-working space. So that's vitally necessary to get these tenants off the ground for the village itself. But the business incubator is actually open to all small businesses. So what we would provide in partnership with Matchbox out of Lafayette, who've been up and running for 5 years, we would provide a space for anyone that wanted to sign up and come use our small business co-working space. So co-working Essentially, it's open to all members 24 hours a day. You have desks, meeting space, conference room, copier fax, your own mailbox, restroom facilities, coffee shop, all the things that are associated with running a small business day to day. That way you don't have to invest, you just become a member and you can use the facility. And then the really cool thing we're doing with it is we're providing training. So if you're just starting out, or maybe you're just, this isn't one of your strong points, taxes or inventory, hiring employees and all the things associated with insurance and those things that, are sometimes difficult to crack, especially when it's just you or a couple people starting a new business. So we are hoping to put in this incubator, provide the training and the facility in partnership with Matchbox. The reason I present it to the county, however, is that we could use some assistance. We have seeded dollars that come from the state through to the city, and we're using that money to purchase the building. Like I said, we were partnering with Matchbox, so we're also joining with Matchbox to go for a grant to provide employees to manage the building and the service and the training. What we need help with, though, is the build out of the space. It's an old building, it's downtown, it's one of our better ones, actually, so we don't have a lot of roof work and so forth, but it is not currently being used for what we would use it for. So we'll have to go in and put in public restrooms to current standards. We will most likely have to put in new electrical because our electrical demand would be higher. We'll have to put in internet fiber, tear out what's there. Fortunately, there isn't a lot built in the space, but we still have a lot of demo to do. And then when we put in conference rooms, of course, we want to put in conference room that have the current facilities of Zoom and the technology required, and then a coffee location and everything associated with running that facility. What I wanted to show you today, and these are in process, so they're not something I can leave, but I wanted you to get an idea of where it is and what we're doing. I'll just back up here so everyone can see. We'll do it this way. This is Perry Street. You're all familiar. Jackson is 28. So this is the main intersection before you go into downtown Attica heading north. Currently, I'm not showing any buildings there. Of course, that's something that still has to be worked out. But we've looked at these buildings. We're not sure how to save them. So what I am doing is showing you the area, though, that we're rebuilding, which the buildings are already gone. So it's just a parking lot today. That's the outdoor market. And then we have an incubator across the street in the existing building. So what's nice about this is we think that it'll have a lot of synergy with the current 130,000 people that are coming through for tourism in Attica. Attica is a community of 3,000 people, but 130,000 people come through here every year with the Badlands, the golf course, and other features. So we have retail traffic already. It's a great place to launch something like this because it's accessible and well known, and also will reach well into Warren County as well. I plan to have this conversation with them as well for other reasons. But the goal is that we provide this facility to grow small businesses. I've been working on economic development for Attica for some time, and I know we've had a lot of conversations about the county's economic development. I really believe, after having tried for years to bring in a new restaurant or a new small business, it's challenging to do to bring people from outside in, because Lafayette's doing extremely well. They're not interested in leaving Lafayette and other locations. However, I also think there's a tremendous amount of talent and side hustles going on in Fountain County that could really benefit from this. And so we could get people from Petersburg coming in and running a store, finding success and going back to Petersburg to open up downtown, which we all want. And I think there's certainly an attraction. We don't have that attraction today. It's an uphill climb to start. What we'll provide as part of this as well, if it is a retail establishment, we'll help you with branding and logo and all the retailing, all the things that really don't come naturally to a lot of people. So we can help you succeed and then help follow up with that. You have any questions about what we're asking, I guess, today is for $250,000 to build out the incubator space. And then we've got another $35,000. We have to hire an architect to do this. The building does not have any exit stairs from upstairs, so we've got to, restructure a part of it to put the stairs in. And we need an architect/engineer to do that. And then any other associated with electrical and plumbing. So they'll be doing a set of drawings for us so that we can issue that for bid. We are hoping to be up and running in the fall because the market is supposed to be running next April. So we need to be up and running so that we can get our future tenants in, start running programs and so forth. That's a big push in today's market, but we're interviewing contractors now. We do not have one yet, no. So, if you have any ideas about that too?
Can you run through briefly, you said seated, but this to give everybody else an aspect, this is only for the interior build out of that space. And what's your total project budget roughly?
For the incubator itself?
Well,
For both?
Yeah.
We're gonna be well over probably 1.3 for the whole thing. And that's a tight one, by the way. So we have currently, the city's been very generous, and I think that should help you make a decision as well. They have torn down buildings, so we're gonna continue to work on that. They're giving us the land, and when I say us, it's WEGA, the nonprofit organization that will service this product. So they've given us the land. They're also giving us some of their ARPA dollars for the market itself. And they're spending money on all the sidewalk improvements, parking improvements, lighting. They're spending a tremendous amount and are very committed to the project. And so we have the city committing to that. Seeded dollars, of course, state money. If you participate, you would be part of that. And then Matchbox, which is a nonprofit with tremendous success. They're tied into WIN and some other corporate donors. So they're going to be a great partner in this. And then if we are starting conversations with Warren County, however, we're just starting. And if they contribute, it would go towards the market itself. We've got some inflationary issues we've got to solve. So, so you're part of a group of contributors in this case.
And this isn't a new concept.
No.
You're not crazy standing up here talking about this because
No.
Park County Partnership is formed in Rockville. We've met with them. They seem to be doing a great job for Park County.
They're good, yeah.
Fusion 54s in Crawfordsville, just like the one in Lafayette.
Mhm.
So this is something that's happening, and
Yeah,
as usual, we're behind the eight ball.
well, what's nice is there's a product out there that actually works,
Right.
that can really help the
So we've
community.
got 3 examples of it working for communities.
Right. And so Matchbox has one more thing that we can participate in because we're partnering. So anybody in our co-working space can also join the space in Lafayette anytime they want. And they have one more thing that we can use, and that's an accelerator. So if you're not at the very beginning with a startup or, early on, and you need, and you're established and you just need to grow your business, they have an accelerator. So what an accelerator does is it marries that business with investors. And then it partners them with tax professionals and so forth, the structures so that you can grow. And so the combination is really powerful. And it doesn't normally come to rural communities, to be honest, because they're just maybe not aware of it, or they can't, afford to pull that off. But we just have this moment where we have the talent right in front of us, and Lafayette's so close that we can make it happen. I think it's going to be really good.
So I guess, my thought was, you mentioned ARPA funds, by the city of Attica. At this point, we do have, some things tagged for ARPA. I don't know what kind of balance we have up there. I think they probably needs to get together and, review some recent submittals.
Sure.
Would there be an area, if we did choose to use more funds, to where it could go for public utilities? And the restrooms was. a big
Yeah.
issue.
I'm not sure, there's some conflicting definitions on how you can use it. We were told that anything under 10 million, you can use it however you want. And then we've had some people push back on that. I don't know the answer. However, the only thing in that mix, if you're looking at utilities only, the only thing would be the restrooms and maybe electrical, which would help, but it certainly wouldn't get us across the finish line.
Well, I agree with Ken, this, I think could be good for Fountain County. Again, we're gonna have to have a discussion with council to see what
Sure.
would they be willing to help you in this project.
So I was able to have a meeting with a couple members of the council, and I have a couple more that I'm going to follow up on. So far, it's been positive. And so what they suggested is they needed commitment from the commissioners first, and then I'm supposed to present next council meeting, which is next week.
I don't have a problem sending it to the council to jointly work with them to see what can be done. You see us passing around a piece of paper here. My question came up as, can the county fund a not-for-profit opposed to funding a government entity? I don't know, Kent, that's a question that needs to be asked.
Yeah, I don't think that's written.
Okay,
If it's in the form of an economic development grant,
okay,
something like that.
That's how the city's doing it.
yeah,
It's a grant.
okay.
And then also, we're under contract with the city. We could also be under contract with the county. It's not a problem. So how we want to structure it.
I'll make a motion to go ahead and approve this and send it over to council, and just contingent that we work with them on what they think. By no stretch of imagination, it's just saying, yes,
Sure.
you'll get the 250,000, this is just giving it down the line, for the council to make that decision. Yeah,
It's a vote of confidence.
yes, it's a move in the right direction, but I just want to be very clear to everybody.
All those in favor?
Aye.
3-0.
Thank you for your work in the county. for
Absolutely.
for coming here today.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, moving on to, well, I guess, any more public comment at this time? Okay. Moving on, minutes, please.
I will make a motion to approve the April 18th and the joint minutes on April 21st. Renton, you probably second that.
Okay, I'll take
I vote for one.
that.
All right,
All in
there we
favor?
Aye.
2-0. Okay, now the other one. Are you-
Yeah, fine.
okay, you'll second that.
Yep.
All in favor?
Aye.
2-0. Okay,
I,
let's be separate.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry about that. So the second motion was you? You did,
Andrew,
and you second, and then,
Tim seconded
there you go.
for the 3-0, and then I seconded for the 2-0.
okay, gotcha. Thank you.
All right,
Sorry about that.
$1,165, $232,688.45.
I'll make a motion.
Sorry, Tim. Yes, all of those three. Yeah, I have the motion.
And I will second those.
Thank you. All those in favor?
Aye.
March report collections was submitted, to the health department.
I will make that motion.
I'll second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Like, common school fund, the congressional interest and principal, interest $13,689.91, and the principal $26,687.42. I know Colleen has to do an end report and disperse the interest to. So,
I'll make a motion to accept.
I'll second.
all those in favor?
Aye.
On the forfeitures, as of April 30th, and now $5,588, sent to the auditor of state via ACH.
I'll make a motion to accept it.
I'll second.
All those in favor? Aye. Additional appropriation for MVH for equipment on the leased trucks. The parts were not budgeted and included in the lease, so there were some add-ons.
Kind of,
I have a question. Okay, go ahead.
To explain this whole situation. When we originally entered into the agreement, I thought like the 3,500 was be used for snow plows, things like that. I wasn't aware we needed new, service trucks. Okay, so Travis and Jerry, who basically run the fleet over there, this is before Jason came on, said, hey, we really need service trucks, we need a new truck for the bridge crew. So we got with Enterprise and said, hey, what we'll do to convert these, 2 service trucks with a service bed, air compressor, welder, generators. Anything else on those, Travis? I think I'm pretty well covered. Okay, strobes, side steps. Everything for this 101,000 is either for safety or make the trucks functional for what we need to use. Period. Of the 101,000, approximately 80,000 was for the 2 service trucks, about 30,000 feet, putting additional beds and things on, and then about 20 on the bridge truck. And the rest are, for the rest of the truck, are strobes, and side steps, snow plow, hookups. Well, that is what that's for. At the end of the lease, in 3 years, we will turn some back in with the aftermarket parts. They will give us more money when we turn them in for our next lease, and we will keep the service trucks. And, for service, they don't get as much use as the other. So that's the explanation of all that went on. This lease is new. We are in a learning process. Montgomery County uses them, Purdue uses them, Bain Welker leases all their vehicles. This is not like leasing a vehicle off an Enterprise person. It is a totally different thing. When we get into the rotation of turning in every 3 years, the leases will go down. Basically, minus this $101,000, we are getting 13 new trucks for about $97,000. You can't buy 2 new trucks a year on rotation for $90,000. That's why we're doing it. It works. We just have to have time to get it up and up. That's all I.
We have a couple things over here on this amount. So do we think that it's better to switch it over to restricted, being that it's a lease, opposed to coming from NCH? I would,
We've
if it was
got-
my opinion, I would recommend that
Yeah.
change, just to use that restricted out on lease, and not consumer NPH. That restricted away to the more struggle to spend out.
And the fund is a little healthier and restricted.
The fund is helping to accept it, that
I
would
don't
be,
think we'll get an additional for that amount out of NVH.
No, I agree.
okay. So with that being said, I do have one more thing, the misnumbered calling, the 102,930, the difference of what they submitted was $1,000 that's appropriated. So the 101,930 was minus that 1,000.
But those other invoices don't add up to 102.
Oh, he's back here. I
Yeah,
didn't-
that's only 56,000, so I don't know where the other
Okay,
amounts are coming from.
so I added this up, but one thing that is missing, there's a to be determined on a 3,500. It says it's shipped, but I'm not sure that we have an invoice for it. So I'm just,
I've not seen one this time.
That one's just going to be, I know what that one's for, it'll just be for to pull the Bobcat and whatever else,
doesn't
the
have a,
heavier equipment. And then it just needs strobes and staff supporting all
the 3,500 that's already shipped.
that. No. It'll be up here. It doesn't need, snowplow.
Let's make a correction. Got it. Let's make a correction. Let's make a correction. I'll make a motion to approve additional appropriations out of NVH restricted in the amount of 103,330, 103,330. Contingent that the rest of these invoices add up, that these numbers are correct. I believe that's correct. I believe this is the right number, but we can verify that. 103,330 out of restricted.
So that would be 1173,000,000.
Yes.
41.
We'll still use the equipment line item.
All right.
Yeah, we'll make a picture.
Okay. I'll be happy.
There you go. Thank you. Okay, moving down to the county general ambulance, they have additional requests for equipment repair of now 15,000, medical supplies 20,000, gas and water 15,000. Field jail, the cost
What's the
estimate.
backup on that?
Okay.
Garth, is that gonna be enough, you think, to get you through the
I
year?
believe so. I mean, looking at the medical supplies, I budgeted this year 40, that gives me right at 60, last year was at 58. I think that's where we're going to be on pace at. Equipment repair, we had a large expense on the ambulance. We're going to potentially get some refund back on one of the things that's fixed. That'll help. I mean, with, as we all know, gas and oil is went up tremendous. So I believe that will get me through. If not, I'm going forward to the year, I have electric slow line, I can move around, I'm pretty sure, I don't say confident, pretty sure.
Okay.
Sure.
Moving on to the old jail and then ground storage tank. Work plan is being done in the process. Roger, did you have any comments?
We're ready.
Okay.
Once you have approval.
And, we just want to be sure that we get with Brad with Covington, and I think Kim's drawing up a contract for us to deed over that property to them. But we want to make sure that all that's squared away, that they are willing to accept the property after we go through this. Is my only contingency.
I would assume that would be dependent on both funds.
Yeah,
So we need to do our job and
okay, I'm fine with that.
give him an idea of what.
Okay. I'm fine with that.
Okay, before we make a motion, Carol, did you have a question?
Who's doing the digging of the tanks?
The city of Coke gonna do it for us?
No.
No, well,
We kind of discussed that, but they were, not willing to, they're not certified to work with Roger on some of the collections process, so it was best that it got bid out and to do it legally that way. Or, yeah, Roger.
yeah, right. There are item requirements for pumping, cleaning the tank and disposal. And the city, although they want to do it, they don't have the people that are certified to do that kind of work, which would potentially put the county on the liability of, you know, like accountability, I don't go to CPR on something, I don't know what I'm doing. So,
Hey, Tim, you're ready to make a motion.
I'll make a motion to proceed with the underground storage tank.
Okay,
I'll second.
all those in favor? Resolution 2022-16, and all this is paperwork, for residential commissioners to do, LPA sign off on paperwork for community crossing grants. We didn't really specify a particular community crossing project, and so this would just cover the line that,
And bridge work.
and bridge work as well. So.
I'll make a motion to accept resolution 2022-16.
I'll second.
Planning Commission board appointments, need a motion to appoint Jacob Rowe and Glenn Walter. Who's stepping
Brad Freeman stepped off the board and Andy Smart stepped off the board. Both from Attica, we've been fortunate enough to replace them with people from Attica. So, I'll make the motion to accept.
Okay,
I'll second.
all those in favor?
And we have one more on. One more is placed, and we might have a candidate for that. And the Purdue extension agent does not let children.
Oh, does she?
Massachusetts.
Georgetown.
Yeah. And we gotta check that out, what the stipulation is on that.
Barb?
Thank you.
Paula, is Paula?
No, she's not.
Okay. What I'm here today for is Michael Lacy. I see you during grant time. And I have a couple things to explain to you. First, I wanted to talk about a grant that Colleen received documentation on the other day, which is not a community corrections grant. What has happened, the state has a new, basically legislative required group called JREC, the Justice Reinvestment Council. And Tim actually sits on the member for the commissioners, there's a member of the council, the judge, the prosecutor, mental health representative, community corrections, probation, the sheriff's department. Basically, the whole idea is that basically all justice involved decisions are made as a group, so that we're not duplicating services, that we're all on the same page trying to get to the same outcome, which is reduce recidivism. So with that said, when they put this group together, it's kind of do it now, and what do you do? We don't really have any guidance for this meeting. Well, now they're starting to come down to private reports we have to do, a collection of reports from other agencies. And also we'll be doing some strategic planning, we'll be doing some mapping. It's gonna be pretty busy work. And any of the positions on this board really have full-time jobs. And we've been doing our best to meet, coordinate. So basically, this isn't just a problem we have in Fountain County, it's a problem everywhere. So they did do an opportunity where you could apply for a one-time funds, the way it sounds. We don't know if they'll invest funds in this project or not. But we kind of found out on the Tuesday that there was a grant, but we had to have it done by Friday. It was one of those hurry up and get it done yesterday things. So we submitted the grant, and anyhow, we were awarded actually more funds than we asked for. So we have $37,000 to basically contract with an individual to help us get through some of those processes, the mapping, it's just organization, helping get the group off the ground, some of the documentations that state's wanting us to have in place. We've actually done a lot of things. We have our mission and our vision, and we have some rules of operations, things that we've already accomplished, but some of the busy work is really coming up. So what we're planning on doing at our next meeting is working together for some type of application to send out and see if anyone would be interested. It's going to be, I think it was $30 an hour, but it could be 1 hour one week, 2 hours the next week, maybe 20 hours. We just don't know. So it's just going to be a contract. And that did come through, and I just want to let you know what that was. Another thing I wanted to point out was, I know someone reached out to us about the website that they're trying to revamp and get some things done, which is exciting. I had spoke to them a few times. Community Corrections is wanting a whole new website. And so basically we're going to pay for that, of course, on our own, but if somehow things get messed up along the billing cycle or something, I just watch out and holler at us. We think they've got it figured out, but I don't want, somehow do you get a bill that we've created a whole new website and you guys go, oh. So basically we are working on that. So, and then it'll be basically a link that goes from Fountain County. That way, if someone looks at Fountain County Community Corrections, they'll find West Central. And then we'll also do the same on all the other counties' websites. So just, it was a billing issue. I was afraid that might get confused with this. And then lastly, we're getting ready to submit for our 2023 grant request for the state. And anyhow, so we have to ask for approval for submission of the grant from you. And then in addition, I always have to ask for approval for some of the other counties because West Central Regional Advisory Board hosts those counties. So the board has already approved all these figures, the West Central Regional Communications Advisory Board, and now it's a process that we come to the agency and the group and the commission have this approved. So just for a breakdown, and I'll give this to you if you want, Freddie, just have this piece of paper, I'm trying to keep that note. West Central Regional Community Corrections is asking for $1,091,612 in grant funds. Our user fee, project income, which I usually guys approve also, is for $915,419. And then that's a total of $2,007,631 to operate for 2023. So
Need a motion then.
well, you can do them all at once if you want, just approval. I think that's how the letter is written. And then Montgomery County Probation's request for grant funds was $164,890. Montgomery County Drug Court was $80,441. Park County Probation was $52,920. And then the Fountain County Probation Department, which is the funding the grant gets to support one of your officers, is $67,575. So total grant request today that we're asking for approval for is $1,457,000 and $1,457,438.
I'll make the motion for Dan to apply for the 2023 Community Corrections grant with the Indiana Department of Corrections.
And
I'll second that.
All those in favor?
Aye.
And also, what you've done in the past, which I know you still want to do, once I've asked for submission, I no longer usually have to come back and ask for permission to accept it. We used to do it that way, and
That's great. We'll revise our motion to accept, to approve you to apply and accept funds.
okay, that would be great that way, because just now, instead of coming through the old way, now it comes just as a link to Colleen to sign. And Does anyone have any questions or anything? Feel free to stop by.
No.
I know you would have had questions about the breakdown and everything, so if you look at your financial report in 9,000 numbers, it does, when the money comes in,
Yes.
Colleen's office will have to disperse it into each one of these and then distribute to those counties. Okay.
Yes.
It's, I don't know why they did it that way. It's just very confusing, but yeah. But most counties have an individual community corrections department. And it's not a regional program, but we became a regional program because just for a small time, they had some legislation that said we had to have a population base of 90,000 people to do that. And so Tim actually was one that coordinated that and regionalized so the neighboring counties could come on to Fountain County. Fountain County has all decision-making authority because they have more, liabilities and things like that with our part. So then all the counties agreed that we would operate. And now, I mean, if you break down the, little over $1 million we asked for, it was like $250,000 a county. And I mean, just for 2 probation officers over Montgomery County, they're already needing almost $107,000. So now we're just really an asset to the state because if we did 5 counties, they need 5 directors, they need 5, and it just, so, and it works out. We've had our hiccups along the road, but overall, I think it works pretty well.
So we have a question as far as the 37,000 contract, does that need a separate motion on its own?
Yeah, it probably would be, yes, thank you. And again, my understanding is if we don't use it all, we just have to cut a check back. It's gonna go back to them, so.
So I'll make a motion to, we're gonna accept that grant for the 37,000 for the personnel.
And like I said, we will
Also-
do on applications.
Who do we call community service worker?
Us and probation, we don't do community service work anymore, but we do still have some. Because we have a lot of people on the recommends that 360 hours or so to do because of their offense. So you can call over and either ask me because I don't have a Jane, I'm down in employee, and we'll try to organize it. But right now, if you know where they're at, I know there's a lot of people at Johnny's house, we can do some hours. And it's community service, but it's also part of their program as an addict, and you know what location you're looking at.
Make a corner,
Little Corner.
do some work around the outside.
Well, I have one, one person, just call me because I can go through, because even if they don't have community service, as long as they're working with someone and being supervised or something, we do have some people that would like to get out. of the
Right.
house. So,
Okay.
and then if you guys have an opportunity to stop by and see us, I know you're good, but
We buy there.
yeah. Come in and see us. Like I said, we're there 24/7, but and I can make arrangements to be there anytime. I don't care if it's a weekend or in the evening.
We'll be by at 10 p.m.
That's fine. That's fine. It's been grant time. That's not really been a problem.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, Josh Whittington was not to be here, but he did send us an email that I might have the Andrew.
So he just wanted to give a couple highlights of a project they had worked on. They did every 15 minutes of that in high school, back on April 13th, 14th. They had about 16 participants. It went over extremely well. He said, he did want to do a huge shout out to the sheriff's department, the police department or EMS service, and the fire department for their help. They didn't have to thank God. And emergency management, yes, for sure. And there is a video online on that. I know that the school has it posted, and it's also on, if anybody wanted to reach out and watch any part of that. He did report that his office has steadily been busy, and traffic fatalities are the highest that he's seen it to date. So that's that, but he was unable to be here this morning with us because he had a client. So, yeah, he was okay. So we appreciate that report and we'll keep it in touch.
Joe?
I don't have anything.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you. Health Department?
Yes, I do. We would like to propose the extension of
Brianna Vaughn's special projects position for another year. We were awarded a crisis co-agreement grant that would have her being a liaison with schools. The schools were surveyed regarding their health needs, healthcare needs. So she'll be assisting in that program. And additionally, the state has lowered their lead parameters for children, so we anticipate more lead cases. So she would also be assisting with our lead program.
When's that grant run out now? And when do you have to reapply for it?
Well, the one that would mainly fund her, it's a 2-year grant. The state has really fumbled the handoff with this. So they're pushing everything back. So it would be probably 2 years out from this fiscal year, if I had to guess. They're looking on pushing the dates back for it because they acknowledge that things did not go smoothly, put it that way.
So you would have to apply for this grant and then receive it 2 years ago?
No, we've already received it. It was a
Okay.
2-year grant period for the crisis co-ag grant is what they call it. The lead grant will be for 1 year.
Okay. And when do you have to apply for the lead grant? What's your deadline?
We've already applied. We're just awaiting word at this point.
Okay,
And with C&D, being inadequate, we anticipate that we would probably be awarded that grant.
sure.
I have a question as far as the approval process for going after that grant. Come to the commissioners or council before that or
For which grant?
for
Either one of
either
them?
one of them. Because the process normally is to come before we enter into an agreement and as well as, the council, because if you're gonna be funding an individual, they're gonna be on, they've always been in the past, they'll have to be in salary ordinance. And so they're gonna have to be on board with it too, because they're gonna question, just like what Andy did, how long is it for, and what happens when that grant comes out, is gonna be on the county to, provide funds.
Well, I mean, the intention of the crisis co-ag grant was to hire additional employees, which we decided we didn't want to do. So we were going to look how we were going to assist the schools with some of this money and programming schools. And then just extend bringing in, not, so
You're
essentially
you're
not bringing
hiring
in.
Another person, you're just.
Correct.
Okay, I just want to be clear on
I
that.
think her
Yeah.
grant is up June 30th, if I remember what Dr.
Okay.
Sherman.
Yes.
She's presently being paid out of
Okay,
that.
so she would be overseeing that. Okay.
And both of these will be awarded this year?
Yes, we've already received the first year of the crisis co-ag, and again, we're just awaiting a word on the site grant.
I'll make a motion to accept and approve this grant.
Each year.
Right. I'll make that motion.
Also,
All right.
And I was not aware we had bring grants. Because I'm still relatively new to the position, so.
Yeah, it's just nice.
So that we're aware, because I know the council was very surprised one time that they
Yeah.
read it in the news. Anyway, and it just helps the auditor too, because if she's gonna have to be tracking all these grants and she's aware of it as well.
I
So if you can
understand.
just include the auditor, on your emails and you forward whatever information you have to her, because she's gonna get all of it.
Okay,
So she needs all that.
okay,
And most of the time, it's not a big deal. It's just nice for us to have a process of what's coming over the next lot, especially when we split funding, like with your department with different counties.
Mhm.
It's nice to have that allocated. That's one thing that's like. So if it was Fountain County, for instance, only, it's no big deal, because life goes on. But when you gotta split it, it creates matter.
Okay, absolutely.
Thank you.
Thank you.
On the health department, we'll talk about that. So, 234 down there, that house, they push it the guy out of this. COVID. Okay, I call it 234 east. Okay. Last I knew, we had right at $200,000 in fines on them. And they were just kind of calling their bluff. Now, half came up at the leaf sale, but the guy who lives right across from it offered him what I considered an excellent offer, and they didn't take it. So are we gonna, are we applied to take them before?
That's Casey was handling, I'm taking off, so.
Okay, okay.
Okay, I just had Lisa Messick reach out to me this morning, just, for an update of the property out there. I don't think there's, have you heard any new,
I'm
okay,
getting all the stuff back from.
okay. I didn't think there was any updates, I reached out to her.
We'll go through all those and then report on status.
Sure, that'd be great, thank you. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Jason?
I just have a few things for you guys. You guys have been out working in the districts, get some material on road grading. Work is up and going on the Xavier Road project, so we will have to file, be aware of that.
What's your timeline on that?
Hopefully by next week, we're permitting, we should be out there
Okay.
a couple weeks.
Yeah.
So, just depending. I have reached out to get some prices on road striping. Still waiting to hear the prices for footman fee. And, I'd give you guys an estimate from Free Thrive this morning on the shoulder stone for the community crossings work that's been done. They are done down there except for the striping. $143,000 is a lot, in my opinion, but was not underestimate. So we have the equipment and the time to do that. And I think we'll just take that on. So it's needed in some spots, so. If you guys are okay with that.
Is that shoulder work? Is that something that has to be done?
That's what I have.
Is it, and you say in some spots it is. it's
Some spots
but-
it takes 10 inches of drop off. I mean, it's just for safety, really. If somebody gets up there,
So it's your recommendation to do it in-house?
when we paved in-house, that's what we've always done.
Okay.
So it's just 2 foot wide shoulder.
Yeah.
We have the equipment to do it. We have a roller that'll follow behind, pack it in. So,
If you're good with that, I think I can.
Rock cross, it was.
For us,
Yeah.
to do it, 25,000.
Yeah.
And that's our manpower.
So we'll do that. We have an F-250 that has wireless welcome. It's beyond repair for us, just for the money on it. Spoke with Kent, he just said we need a declaration that it's junk surplus. So we'll go ahead and do that. Dispose of it as we see fit.
That's not necessary, also. That's right.
No,
That's not right.
that's,
Yeah, we below the threshold, it costs more than advertising. And, go through the bid process, so we declare very discretion.
Question, we still, Roman, after the Delaware County,
I'm sorry.
we still roaming Delaware County, we're not gonna get that back.
We received everything back.
Okay. That's good. Just, thinking that when he gets the maintenance budget to killing equipment back in the afternoon.
Right, no, that's not.
I'll make a motion to declare that at 250, is that right? Surplus, and you can.
Also,
All those in favor?
Aye.
Yeah.
The paperwork and everything's been filed for Bridge 202 at Stone Bluff. We should be starting to receive some letters of interest from consultants. I just need to know who's going to be on the scoring team. Either one of you or
You have to do that every year.
not, this is just for the bridge contract. This is, bridge inspections are for you, so usually it's just
I know
3
that-
people, so.
I know we had local scoring commissioners along with the highway superintendent, and that's right up there, so do all of us have to be,
No, it's usually just 3 people.
We had 4 last time.
I nominate Brian.
I'll second that. All in favor, aye.
So
Thank you.
we can get somebody else. Somebody can do it. So, okay. I would like to put Chuck Skelly from Westside Tractor on the agenda for next meeting. It appears that we've had some lapses last year and earlier this year on warranties. That he's putting together a cost metric for us. We have 13 or 14 pieces of equipment, and 6 of them are really lapsed. So. I think it's very beneficial to listen to him and see what he has to say. He just like to come and present, let you guys know. So just want to get that on the agenda for next meeting.
And he said that.
Chuck Skelly from Westside, SKELLY. Westside. So that's all I have.
or do you have anything?
Okay, I will say, we had some road grading northern part of the county. I got a lot of compliments on that, so big plus, thank you. Last week, 2 weeks when it happened. Thank you.
Sorry, Greg.
It's okay. Roger and I, and Colleen work together. We've got papers in now for the financial report for the landfill and also for the response on the solid waste permit for composting out there. And it's all been submitted. Thanks, Roger. We'll see what we hear back from that. Roger and I and Daryl met out at the landfill to discuss the closure of the pond and realignment of one road. And we're gonna need some stone. I've talked with Highway, and the best bet for us to do it is to coordinate. I'm gonna have Daryl coordinate with Travis and get the names of some contractors to haul rock in, because they're low on rock and they're gonna be swamped with their work. So I think it'd be more beneficial to utilize their contractors to have rock hauled in for Daryl. So I'll get with Daryl and Roger, and we'll get that lined up to have a rock hauled in, so that we have the rock that we need to do the work that's needed out there. So, but we're moving forward with it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Sheriff?
Yeah. So, got 69 Jill. The main county contact was touring and wants us to take 10. You know, so we're looking at our options right now. I've been having an issue with the fire alarm system.
Yeah, heard the fire department about that.
Oh, yeah, and I get a phone call at 11:30 last night from Chicago. So I call up the jail. Today, so the fire alarm going off. Yeah, for a second at 7 o'clock tonight. So when the fire department showed up the other night, Chicago had not called anybody. Not even dispatch. Yeah. So I got somebody coming out today to look at the fire alarm system. It keeps throwing a code. And so I asked Chicago, what code is that? And they say it's a certain part of our building, which is located outside. There's nothing out there. So got them come in and take a look at it, make sure it's supposed to be doing what it's doing, and we're not getting these cry wolf calls all the time. So, and then like you're coming over today, so. Unless you want to move. Anyway,
Not ask me.
She'll come over.
he's want to send me a text.
She's retired.
So anyway, just come on over. Okay, look around. Or that, everything's doing.
Still not 40 hours on the day.
Yeah.
67.
So then, parole contact this Friday. They want to do basically want a sweep and bring in, yes,
Violated.
right,
Which is everybody that knocked.
right. So then we still get paid for, or, paid by the state for that.
Great.
So I'll take their money.
Oh, absolutely.
All right, anything else? Yeah.
Did we ever get anybody for the water system?
We got guys that are supposed to be calling after tomorrow. So, they're supposed to be coming in and take a look at, because one guy we called out of Cargill. I don't know if I'm familiar with that system. I'm not, I'm not a plumber, so.
Right.
The other thing I do want to tell you guys about the First Amendment audits, we are going to have training. So I talked to my attorney last week, Craig McKee, out Terre Haute. He gave me some information for people to talk to. I think we can do that here at the courthouse because some of the ladies were spooked. We started looking into the guy that was doing it, and he has court May 10th for a revocation hearing. Yeah, Hartford, of course. So then the next day, I was receiving calls from Florida and all over in the southern part of the state. So I talked to one guy. Basically, they just want you to listen. I got all day, talked to him. Then he proceeded to tell me how he was falsely arrested, he was going through court proceedings and all. It's those people. So, not a big deal. We didn't get hammered hard on it. Clinton PD did. And they're actually going to that guy's court hearing May 10th. So I'm probably gonna stop on to and watch that one. So, anyway, we're gonna have training. Just so everybody who got, knows what they can or cannot do.
I thought you.
The guys have handled it well. There is nowhere, unless somebody can show it to me, that we have to provide who we are. You already got the camera out, you already looked at my badge, it's on there. I don't have to address you. Matter of fact, I don't have to say a word to you. As long as you're not causing a conflict or trespassing in certain areas that you're not supposed to be in, I don't care what you're doing. So that's what we're at. 9 times out of 10, these guys are the ones that have already been in trouble. They hate law enforcement. This particular guy I'm talking about, so he was actually stopped on I-70. Signed away sports member rights, signed it all away. I've got all that paperwork. So I'd like for him to come back so we can sit down and now, we get the pockets and so on and so on. I do, or I would like at some point discuss a fence around that facility. Yeah. So I've got people walking with them. He's on the backside of the jail. I don't know what he's planning. So I need something around that jail anyway, especially because the inmates, when somebody's brought in on the east side of the building to the Sally Port. I mean, it would be a bad day for somebody if they come in the Sally Port filming me when I'm bringing somebody in.
That's my biggest concern in that video is if you guys had to bring somebody in that port, he was right there, to get.
So-
somebody out of there.
Technically, I can say you're not permitted in here because there is a sign out there. We do have a sign that says restricted employees only, authorized personnel.
Right.
He cannot go past that point. If he starts going past that point, and I ask him to leave, he doesn't, there's trespassing, period. There's no questions asked. He wants to sit there and argue with me over it. Now let's go for disorderly conduct. You're all sitting in the jail, period. So they're not as smart as what they pretend to do. Anyway, we're on the train. Like I said, at some point, we'd like to sit down and discuss the fence. Not only that, that fence too, we would have a fire drill. So we have to have that for state statute. For the inmates, we have to remove the inmates from their cells out into a facility or an area. There's really no good area to put them. There is a fence. There is no razor wire or nothing around that. So that's something we probably need to do. All right. Anything else? Anything?
I'll see you in a little bit.
Perfect. All right.
Thank you, Terry. Yeah.
Real quick, commissioners, when Roger and I were doing the solid waste perimeter, the compost is sort of bleeding over outside their line. With your permission, I'd like to work with that and try to clean it up a little bit. It's just going outside the designated boundaries of the solid waste. It's still a county problem, but we were concerned that it might cause an issue. And I just know you're the tractor and work it. And it's getting sort of full too, and I'm gonna use some of it around the well out. So, but I just didn't get your permission unless you have some concerns with me. Does the companies come in here dumping that, I think? Yeah, and I put a barricade up because they were running over the existing septic system. And it moved them over, they're still coming in, but it's gotten where it's so full. Right. It needs to be worked. Right. So that's why I would like to go out and I'll have the time. I'll coordinate with Steve. Yeah. No. And, but I'd like to work it and try to maybe clean it up a little bit so that we don't have a problem down the road. Because if John Ware is with the state, he comes out and does the inspection, I know John. And he won't say anything until it gets to be a problem. I'd rather not get that. Right. I'd rather, so he comes out and does the inspection, it looks okay.
So maybe a question for you, Greg. I know INTA has gone back to this and they're coming out to look at that site to possibly purchase and put solar panels in. Are we under any states that we have to have a compost pile?
No, you don't have to, but it's beneficial to the community.
Right,
You don't have to have, and you don't need that, the area that's designated that, I don't know.
Yeah, I know, there's some front part there.
Yeah, there's not much at all.
Yeah.
There's not much, yeah.
Right. Okay.
But, it's not that big, I mean, it's not.
Okay, yeah, we'll look at it.
It's not a problem.
Okay.
So I'm just gonna work this and try to clean it up.
Okay.
I just like to address it before.
Right. Okay.
Thank you.
Yep.
Okay.
I had one thing I forgot to share. Community corrections has 2 vacant positions, so they're not new positions. And I remember when I was in the positions every day. So one starts today, it's not a new employee, it's just who was budgeted, and I'm still looking for replacement for Jamestown. So the seasonal employees coming through, they're not new employees, they're just replacing.
Sure, thank you.
Thank you for clarifying. Any other department heads? Oh, Jason.
I'm sorry, I forgot one thing you can't. I was wondering if you would have had a chance to look about the bids.
That statute doesn't create any obligation on the county to purchase anything from anybody that submits a bid. We're following the public purchasing law and the statute doesn't create any obligation to make the inspection. And even if you're people that submit on that list, you don't have to, you can buy it from anyone on that list or no one on that list.
Any other departments?
He's got here, he should, I don't know whether he was here during public comment, but he has
Did you come in late?
public comment.
No, I've been here all the time.
I asked for public comment, you didn't say.
Well, I'm getting hard hearing, I'm 21 years old.
I'm sorry. We made
Anyway, I'll tell you a story.
I just thought you were here for the entertainment.
You're gonna have to start thinking a little bit. Anyway, I am getting pretty hard hit. I'm one eye and one eye and bad ear, so we're from there. I'm talking about the 43 railroad right of ways in Fountain County. Now, dealing with the railroad, I don't know if anybody knows about that. It's very difficult. But there's a piece of ground on the very south corner of Fountain County. It's got 50 acres. It's worth about possibly $100,000. The reason I'm telling you all this, they won't deal with nobody unless you offer them $100,000. They want a six-figure for the. And for them to settle them pieces of property is cost a whole lot more than $100,000 they'll get out of that one piece of property. But if I buy that, the rest of it's dead in the water. So I wondered if the county could let them know that they'd like to get rid of them. I talked to Linda, she said at one time, one of the railroad people would like to get rid of them. So can they, you notify the railroad, if I buy this one piece and get us in the door, of what they'll pay you to get rid of the rest of them. I mean, I think you can very easily prove to them that what I could do, if I got it, I could do it a lot cheaper than they can, because I could go to quick claim deeds and all that and get rid of it. So there's where my angle would be. I would buy the whole thing for the $600,000 or for the $100,000. And then I can divvy out this other stuff. And I would think they would pay you something or pay me something to get rid of it. And then that would make it worthwhile for me to buy it for $100,000. So, and I can clean it all up, I think. Once I get it and get it all in my name, I'll have it in I'll get a special corporation just for that project. Then I'll go around, once I get it, and go to each individual, say, look, this is how we can get it in your name. Now, some of them will pay me a little something for some of it. Some of it you'll have to pay them to take it. So I could, in the meantime, I think I can make enough on this deal if they'll pay a little bit of it to make it worth my while. And get rid of it for the county.
I know that we've had individuals in the past that have been taking care of property on railroad, right? Correct?
Yeah.
So I'm sure they're not gonna want to pay any money out for something that they thought was theirs.
Well, okay, let's say I buy it all. I mean, they gotta understand, if I buy it all, they can't, it's mine. There's pieces of property, all that property, if I bought it all one piece.
Yeah, I understand where you're going. I just have those concerns.
Well, okay, now, I'm here, I understand what you're saying, but I've talked to enough people. They'd be glad to get it deeded into their name, be done. You see what I'm saying? Because when you go to sell your property, you got that right of way through it. Then you can always argue with your neighbors. And most people that I've dealt with in this and that would be glad to get it deeded in their name and done with. So the only thing I don't want to do is see if you can get you in the door and convince the railroad to pay somebody to get rid of the rest of it. Because it would cost. So I don't know if you can convince them of that or not. That's what I'd like to do.
Well, it's just me that I would feel better having to sit down with our county attorney and discussing this a little further on what action we want to take, if any.
Have you talked to them about your parcel that you're interested in?
I talked to the railroad. I finally got to somebody I could talk to.
Yeah.
And the reason, when I can buy the property for $100,000. But I thought while I was at it and opened up the door, because they said they wouldn't talk to anybody under 6 figures. And I thought for the county itself and the people in the county, most people like to get it cleared up. I mean, it's always been somebody complaining this and that. So I thought it'd be a good time, once I got them talking to us, that maybe the county from you could give them enough information to make them realize they're paying $18,000 a year for nothing. It's just, but they don't care about the $18,000, so that's for them. So you can see what I'm talking about. And I think, well, I know I can, if I can get it right and get it, if I buy it all, and they're willing to pay a little something to get rid of it, I can go around everybody and work on a quick claim deed, and they don't have to go through all that surveying. And I know there's quite a few people would be more than glad to pay for the quick claim deed. So do what you can, but while I'm in the door, we might as well try. And so all I know to do, you can talk to anybody that knows anything about the survey, and be about 200,000, wouldn't it? Huh?
I can do it a little bit cheaper.
How much you think you get for? I'm not kidding, I'm serious.
I don't know if this is, I mean, the commissioners and council have to discuss if there's any benefit to the county. Why would they open a door and get into business with the railroad if there's no benefit to the county? That's something these four.
Well, see, that's what I'm gonna do, get it out of their hands. And they'll be done with it, and it'll all be back deeded to the individual.
It's really a private matter, I think.
It's between the railroad and all the private owners, because that right of way, Roger just brought up a good point. Most of the time, the railroad has what it owns, and then it has the right of way. That right of way automatically reverts. But if you've gotten through and you're dealing with an actual human being at the railroad, then you are way ahead.
Well, that's, okay. Now, a lot of people think you divide it equally. You could, that would, if I went to the people and said, look, this is right between your pieces of property, we can deed half up to you and half up to that. There's some of them, there's one other piece on there that it's got some value. There's 8 acres running through one farm ground. And that's about the only other piece on there that's worth messing with as far as any money involved. But I have talked to enough people that they'd be willing to pay the money to get it deeded in their name, be done. So, the thing of this, see, the railroad have to go through. I talked to Decker, and they said that, the city's got some of their streets on the railroad property right now. So they'd be glad to get that off of them. But anyway, that's where I'm at. And if I get in the door and you talk to them and see what they think, there's nothing to lose, something to gain, get them off the books. There's 43 pieces. So if we
Does that help clear the treasurer any, or out of the treasurer?
I don't,
It's really more, of a- I get where he's coming from. It's more of a benefit to the landowners.
right.
I'm not sure it's something we need to get our feet wet entirely unless we help the process.
okay, here's what I would do.
Change the parcel number count unless they combine them, which that hardly ever. I don't see any benefit as far as the tax side.
It'll just be taxed into the individual, right?
Right.
But it'd be all, the thing of it is, I'll take it and put it all in my name in the corporation, so that way the county's not involved. If I can get it, put it all in my name, that way you guys is clear, and when we get done, that, it should be done with forever. And I think most, that'd be the benefit to the county. You wouldn't have to argue with it no more and all that, but I don't know if you can get to the railroad, they're hard to deal with, everybody knows that.
That's what I was thinking, you want to out there.
Huh?
That's what you're gonna do, you probably got to them, right?
Yeah, but see, I'm an individual, since you're in the county, you could look to them a little leverage, say, look, the people driving us crazy, we'd like to get rid of this. Now, this, well, right?
Yeah.
Okay, and then do you say, well, they'll talk about money, because the main problem they say with dealing with the railroad, they are afraid they're gonna give a piece of property away, it's got a lot of value, like in the big, the city, one railroad right away, and it's, so that's one reason, and the other reason they don't give it down.
Right.
If you ain't spending money, six figures, what you told me. So, see what you can do, and I'll do the best I can to clean it up. Well, then I'll end up in jail.
Well, we hope not.
No, I think it's a good deal for everybody, I really do.
I think if you can help the landowners, they would appreciate that. I just don't, I wouldn't be wholeheartedly promise that everybody's gonna work with you once you buy all 43, but I think some of them.
Well, okay, now I'm not trying to be smart. If they don't buy it, I say, I own this piece right here in front of you, and sooner or later, that's it. You know what I'm saying? If I had to, you get down in little pieces, I just give them a quick plan D to get rid of them. You see what I mean?
Yeah.
Well, anyway, that's my story.
Okay, thank you.
I won't make millions on this deal.
I hope you do. I hope you do.
They're all right.
Yes.
I'm gonna get rid of it all as quick as I can, I'll tell you that.
Do I have anything else?
I'm gonna do it, man. Close. Oh, wait, did somebody have something?
No.
I hear that. Okay. I'll make a motion.
Oh, second. Okay, all those in favor, close. Meeting. Aye. Thank you all.